A divided street in a fractured city. Palestinians breaking the fast, a ritual during the holy month of Ramadan. On the pavement opposite, about a dozen mostly young Jewish nationalists. A blast of pepper spray and a volley of plastic chairs. Scenes like this have become a familiar sight in the neighbourhood of Sheikh Jarrah in East Jerusalem. Extreme right-wing Jewish lawmaker Itamar Ben-Gvir makes an appearance this evening alongside Deputy Mayor Aryeh King. After taunts of Nazi, Ben-Gvir says, the Deputy Mayor makes a joke about a bullet entering a man's head. Later, after a car is torched nearby, videos emerge of religious Israelis with pistols poised, apparently taking their positions to defend a building. This does not look or feel like a city at peace with itself. Back on the street, bottles, rocks and other objects are thrown by protesters. Police use stun grenades and make arrests for public disorder offences. Palestinian residents say the real aim is intimidation. Another common sight, skunk water blasting out from a truck. Sprayed to disperse, police say. Residents who have to live with the putrid smell in their homes and their gardens say it demeans and humiliates. It's these homes and gardens, this land, that all this is ultimately about. 7 extended Palestinian families who've lived here since the 1950s face possible eviction over the summer. Israel's Supreme Court is to hear their appeal soon. 77-year-old Nabil El-Kurd is head of one of the 7 families.
We are in the right. We are the owners of the land. We are still resisting. We are staying here, even if they don't want us.
Nabil was a little boy when he moved here after his family were expelled from their home in Haifa by Jewish forces in 1948. Under an arrangement between the UN and Jordan, which at the time controlled East Jerusalem, 28 Palestinian families were found a place to live here, in exchange for giving up their refugee status. But using a law passed in 1970, after Israel took control of the whole of Jerusalem, an organisation called Nachalot Shimon International is seeking their eviction, arguing that the land had once belonged to Jewish families. 3 evictions have already taken place, including the front half of Nabil's house 12 years ago.
They took all my furniture out and put it in the garden. I had a little cupboard which I used for food and drink that I would give to visitors. They stole it.
Nabil's daughter Muna was filmed in an exchange with the man who currently lives there.
Jacob, you know this is not your house.
Yes, but if I go, you don't go back. So what's the problem? Why are you yelling at me? I didn't do this. I didn't do this.
But
it's easy to yell at me, but I didn't do this.
You are stealing my house.
And if I don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it.
No one is allowed to steal it, ya ammi.
We don't understand why Arabs are here. I don't want any problems, but this area called Nachlat Shimon was for the Jews even before the establishment of the state. This land is Jewish and belongs to us. We don't believe anyone, not the courts or anyone else.
Israel's foreign ministry characterizes what's going on here as a real estate dispute. But Palestinian families say there is a huge injustice at the center of it all, which is that under an Israeli law passed in 1950, they have no right to return to their old homes in Israel that were taken away and given to Jewish families. Deputy Jerusalem Mayor Flo Hassan Nahum refused to address the different restitution laws when interviewed by CNN, but said the municipality was committed to helping all people in the city.
In local government, we cannot be involved in those matters. It is not us who make any type of laws like this. This is a property dispute that will be solved in the courts.
But which courts? Israel wants this settled at its own high court under its own laws. International law considers East Jerusalem occupied territory, which Israel strongly rejects.
And the people living here are protected, have protected status under international law. And accordingly, Israel is obligated under international law not to transfer the protected population in or out or within occupied territory, nor is it allowed to transfer its own population into that territory.
For all the legal complexities, the provocations and the violence, it's hard to avoid the conclusion that something pretty basic seems broken in Sheikh Jarrah. Something isn't working. Andrew Carey, CNN, Jerusalem.